Megatron is a 734 Raptor with a 12.5-to-1 high compression piston. Megatron has a silent blown head gasket. The gasket has been blown for more than a year. What made this blown head gasket silent, and how was it detected? Hey guys, welcome back to QUADNATION. This is right after the 734 build with the 12.5-to-1 high compression piston, but it is right before I blow my head gasket. This video may bring insight to many, and it may save some machines. So watch carefully as you're about to see me blow the head gasket. Little did I know Biden's cheap fuel was pre-detonating under the extreme pressures of the 12.5-to-1 compression piston. In just a moment, you're going to see a flood of coolant spray onto my leg. That's right after I blow the head gasket, as the gasket was blown and it allowed air to enter the coolant system, airlogging it and eventually pushing the coolant out of the coolant reservoir. Let's take a look at this clip. Oh man! Oh, look at our trenches! Oh my! Oh man! One more full send, guys. Here we go. Second gear launch. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Full send. Oh, man. Third gear. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. Not another spark plug incident. Oh. Why do I have coolant pouring out? Oh God. Oh, might have just been a little bit too much. Yeah, it's just too full. We're good. Here we go. Initially, I was concerned when the coolant started overflowing. However, I immediately wrote it off as I felt that maybe I had overfilled the coolant system and it was just expanding under heat, causing it to overflow. With that being said, it was very negligent on my behalf to write it off so quickly. One of my greatest mistakes I've ever made in this industry, as I had a blown head gasket and I would not discover that for an entire year. During the course of the next year, I continued riding harder than ever. As you guys know, QUADNATION spares no expense when it comes to full throttle. Not realizing yet that Megatron was pre-detonating while running on Biden's cheap fuel, I continued to push Megatron harder than ever. I conducted a few top end runs with the 734 setup, pushing Megatron beyond 9,000 RPMs, but it wasn't until I conducted the burnout with the green spray paint. During the course of the burnout, I got the engine super hot, and after coming out of the burnout, I conducted a few donuts, and during the course of the donuts, while feathering the throttle, the engine had a heavy load on it, and it was at this time that I noticed the engine was pre-detonating. It was likely that I could finally detect the pre-detonation, as I was not screaming Megatron at 9,000 RPMs, but rather putting a heavy load on the motor during low RPMs. At this point, I could hear the pre-detonation, and I realized that that was the worst case scenario. I then realized the pump fuel was not sufficient for a 12.5-to-1 compression ratio, at least in Megatron. I knew from that point forward I would have to run race fuel, but little did I know the damage was already done. Not knowing at the time I had a blown head gasket, I continued to push Megatron harder than ever. Although I was running race fuel now at this point, the damage had already been done. However, as you guys can see, despite having a blown head gasket, I was still able to push Megatron at over 87 miles an hour at 9,000 RPMs. I also lined Megatron up against the Banshee. Oh, I'm spinning! Oh man! The DS. Oh shit! Oh my god! I haven't been on Megatron in a minute! And flips Raptor. All while while having a blown head gasket. I'm going to roll a clip that I shot right before I realized I had a blown head gasket. I could not understand why my coolant kept spraying out. I wasn't 100% sure if it was coming out of the reservoir or if I had a leak in the system. But either way, I was very perplexed by the whole situation and could not figure out why Megatron kept losing coolant. The clip I'm about to show you is pretty much when I hit rock bottom. I superheated Megatron beyond the safe limits. The engine temp light came on, the clutch plates started slipping in 5th gear, and it started idling high. I knew these were all signs of a very hot engine. When I checked the coolant, it was empty. Basically, I ran Megatron to the ground with no coolant. I was very upset with myself, didn't know what to do. I was really thinking about seeking some counsel from Biden, but I knew I'd end up worse off. Let's watch the clip where I superheated Megatron and how I finally discovered I had a blown head gasket.
Look at old Megatron. Those burnouts. Oh shit! Oh, stay in your own lane, damn it! Oh god, Grandpa almost killed QUADNATION. Look at those burnouts old QUADNATION made with Megatron. Oh shit! We blew her cap off! What the fat monkey? Hell, okay. Okay, that must mean there's a lot of pressure in there. Oh shit, I'm soaked! Oh, and it's steady bubbling. Oh gosh darn it! Ah, I guess that means we're done hauling butt. Alright guys, I have made Megatron great again. The only thing I have left is the clutch plates, because when I superheated the engine this last time, the clutch plates went. They're toast. Anyways, we are about to send this girl, excuse me, Megatron, I'm sorry. Megatron's pronouns are him, sir, master of the world. Megatron is not a transgender, okay? I'm sorry. Sometimes I call her a she. But anyways, you guys get the idea. It just slips out sometimes because of the frickin' world we live in. Anyways, it's got us all confused. We don't know who's male or female anymore. But anyways, I'm going to get off that before I lose too many subscribers. Anyways, but as far as the head gasket, it was not damaged to the extent that you had the white smoke billowing out. You had water entering the oil, which made it look like milk. It was only damaged to the extent that under full throttle and under extreme volatile conditions in the combustion chamber, it allowed gases to slip past the gasket, and in this case it was on the left side toward the back on Megatron, and it allowed those gases to bypass the gasket, enter the coolant system. It would cause air then to rise up into the radiator, eventually coming out the top through this bleeder line down to the bottom of this reservoir, and fill this with air until no more coolant was left, and then leaving my entire system airlogged, not allowing it to cool, only heating things even more. So what we are looking for is, we're going to see, when I roll on the throttle and go full send, we're going to see if we see air pumping into that reservoir tank like we seen in the earlier video. Remember guys, it was just bubbling like an aerator in a fish tank. Absolutely horrible. I just had no idea until I really thought about it and went, Flip and A1HP and a few others said blown head gasket. The air's coming from somewhere. The only thing it could be, because these are basically big frickin' compressors, it has to be coming from the motor. And then what solidified it all is when I smelt the coolant and it smelled like race fuel. So here we go, guys. Brand new gasket in here. We're gonna rip it. Here we go. Second gear, full send, baby. No bubbles yet. Yes. No bubbles. Awesome. No bubbles. Everything looks sound. We're going to get up to speed. And she's going to have, excuse me, there I go again, calling Megatron a she. He's going to have the most pressure in the combustion chamber under a heavy load. So we're going to hit 5th gear and just roll on the throttle in low RPMs. Make sure that head gasket holds. Here we go, ready? Punch it! Oh, the clutch slipped just a little bit. Oh yeah, it's on! Hell yeah, baby! Woo! So I definitely need to replace the clutch. I didn't get to it this time around because the gasket didn't come in on time. And I was too eager to put it back together and do this video for y'all this weekend. So after the video this weekend and I pop them tires, I'm definitely going to replace the clutch because it is slipping a little bit in 5th when I really romp down on her. But guys, no air bubbles. That is so crazy. Alright, here we go. We're about to hit Mach 1, guys. Hold on to this sonic boom. Mach 1. Oh, shit. And Mach 2. Oh, God. No bubbles. Look at this, guys. Ready? No air bubbles. Wow. Alright, just in case you missed the last sonic booms,